Hello, this is another edition of Stuart Doll Show, starring myself, Stuart Doll. I'm coming to you live from my house right here in Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada, where the current temperature is about 14 degrees. It is steadily rising. It's supposed to get to 29 today. Looks like it's going to be clear for most of the week. There might be, the odd maybe showers, throughout the week and that, but whatever. It's Manitoba. What do you expect? Now let's just get right into my show. In a news-related subject, this is from Global News Winnipeg. This is titled "Fire Crews Battle Massive Blaze in Winnipeg's East End." Flames could be seen from downtown as the fire ripped through a hotel in the city's East End Friday afternoon. Multiple emergency vehicles rushed to the Super 8 hotel at 1485 Nakawa Road at 3:40 p.m. 25 guests were staying there at the hotel, but only 4 were in the building at the time of the blaze. Everyone inside was safely evacuated. The fire was confined to the rear section of the building. It was under construction, which is probably a total loss, Platoon Chief Barry Evans said as crews battled the blaze behind them. All construction workers on site were also safely evacuated. The project manager of the construction, Evan Schinkel, said he noticed the blaze existing in the building and called for help at around 3:30 p.m. At this point, the fire had spread about 15 minutes later to an additional portion, Shingle said. Everyone was accounted for after the police were called, Shingle said. The residents who had reservations at the hotel said that they would be being redirected to other hotels. So this goes to show you that when fires and that get really out of control, they can be deadly and have some really deadly consequences. But fortunately enough, all the construction workers were safely evacuated, and the people that were staying at the hotel, and some of them that were staying there that weren't there at the time probably didn't even know about it in the first place to begin with. Anyways, what else? And here's a news-related subject. This is from ZTV News Winnipeg. This is titled "Check Stop Crash Sends Winnipeg Police Officer to Hospital." Police officer is in hospital after being hit by a vehicle at a check stop on Waverly Street. Police set up a check stop at Waverly and Bison near Investors Group Field, where the Blue Bombers were playing in a capacity game Saturday evening. The officer was hit at about 8:30 p.m. just as the game was letting out. Police blocked off nearby intersection of Chancellor Drive and Lake El Benburn Bay. A silver car could be seen in the middle of the street when its back windshields were smashed in. No word if the two scenes were related. Police are still investigating. They tell CTV the officer is in stable condition. It is unknown if a suspect is in custody. So again, this is a story that really honestly goes to show you, the level of stupidity that some people will stoop to at times. Like who in their right, honestly, who in their right frame of mind would not only hit a police officer, but at a check stop of all things to do. It just goes to show you how some people are really stupid in the head at times. But oh well. sometimes, what can you do about it? But, sometimes with people, being stupid and crazy, you just, they're all over the place, type of thing. What else? What else? Another news related subject. This is from the BBC News website. It is titled "Europe Migrant Crisis." Germany re-dies for 40,000 arrivals. Um, in some 40,000 migrants could arrive in Germany over the next 2 days, officials say, double the number who entered the country last weekend. In the southern city of Munich received another 3,600 on Saturday morning, but there is concerns about how the region will cope with another large influx. Around 4,000 troops have been deployed in Germany in logistic support. Germany has become an attractive destination for Syrian refugees since it waived EU rules. The government announced in August that it would deal with Syrian asylum applications regardless of where the migrants first arrived in the EU. Up until then, people had to claim asylum in with the first EU country they reached. Tens of thousands of mainly Syrian migrants have been making their way from Turkey through the Balkans and Hungary to reach Austria, Germany, and Sweden. Migrants continue to arrive in Macedonia from Greece. More buses were reported to be making their way towards the Hungarian border this weekend. Next to an old set of railway tracks, a long line of migrants and refugees quells for buses to take them to nearby registration camps, which they have not been able to visit. A police officer calls families for one by one. Syria, Afghanistan, Pakistan? The officer asks in English. He notes their reply on one piece of paper and lets them aboard. A translator stands by to help. At one point, she picks up a rake and clears rubbish from the road in front of the bus. By a contrast to the chaos and panic I witnessed at the same place on Friday night, the atmosphere is calm. Police are courteous and organized. The volunteers are walking along the line handing out sandwiches and bottles of water to the refugees' families waiting apparently in the sun. Munich Mayor Dieter Reiter appealed urgently for other German regions to do more to process and accommodate the new arrivals. He described as scandalous to the failure of other regions to provide more accommodation, according to the state broadcaster ARD. Reports suggest that the government is considering new temporary powers to take more control of unoccupied rental property to accommodate migrants. A large processing hub is planned for northern Germany on Lundberg health trains would take migrants directly from Austria. Germany has been overwhelmed not by refugees but by the impressive wave of goodwill towards people fleeing war. Donations have flooded in. A large number of volunteers have come forward, and some Germans have opened up their homes for migrants. After years of a nasty Nazi comparisons over Greece's debt crisis, many Germans are rather enjoying the sudden image boost of a beacon of humanitarian generosity. But the mood could be shifting. Right-wing allies of Chancellor Angela Merkel have attacked her open-door policy and called it irresponsible and a political error. And on Saturday, some commentators in the mainstream papers are questioning whether Mrs. Merkel's promise that Germany is able to shelter an unlimited amount of migrants is really true. The mainstream feeling remains impressive generosity, but a fear that is, if things get difficult, will there be a backlash? The crisis has exposed deep divisions within the European Union. The European Commission announced plans for obligatory quotas to share about 120,000 additional asylum seekers among 25 member countries. The Czech Republic, Hungary, Poland, and Slovakia are opposed to being focused in taking new arrivals. Hungary has struggled to cope with 150,000 migrants who have crossed its borders so far this year. It is criticized over how it's treating them. Austrian Chancellor Werner Faymann, in an interview with the Der Spiegel in German, strongly condemned a decision to place migrants on a train after leading them to believe that they are heading for the Austrian border when they are in fact destined for a processing camp in Hungary. Putting refugees on trains in the belief that they are going somewhere totally different awakens memories of the continent's darkest time. He quoted as saying comments as seen as a reference to the Nazi treatment of Jews. Hungary protested, summoning Austrian ambassador to the foreign ministry. Hungary dismissed the Austrian chancellor's comments as irrelevant, unworthy of a 21st century European leader. Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban has called the European Union to give Syrian neighbors 3.4 billion in financial aid to help those displaced by the civil war. Mr. Orban said supporting Turkey, Lebanon, and Jordan with such package would end the mass migration to Europe. So, like, this really honestly really goes to show you that some people that it really amazes me that some of these some of these some of these countries like the Czech Republic, Hungary, Poland, Slovakia are opposed to being forced to be taken in new arrival. I think like I said, the Czech Republic, Hungary, Poland, and Slovakia, these countries that are opposed to taking or opposed to forced to being taking new arrivals. I think these countries really need to sit down and actually grow a set of balls, if they have any, to take in these new arrivals, because all these migrants want if they want a better life for themselves, but not only for themselves but their families and that are fleeing violence and that, and fleeing violence and that from their countries that they're fleeing. I think, like I said, the Czech Republic, Hungary, Poland, the Czech Republic, Hungary, Poland, and Slovakia, I think these governments really need to do more to help Europe cope with this, cope with the worst migrant crisis since the end of World War II, when after 6 years of the most terrible conflict in human history, World War II, many people all over Europe back then were displaced. Millions of civilians died, and millions of civilians had to flee, like mainly like German civilians, like during the battle, like from like the German capital Berlin, because at that time the Allies were coming in from the west. They had just crossed the River Rhine, and the Soviet Red Army were coming in, closing in from the east. And the thing was, is the reason why these German civilians were fleeing the Soviet Red Army, because they were in fear of the retribution that the Soviet Red Army would inflict on not only the German civilians but members of the Waffen SS, the German army itself, the Luftwaffe, and that because of what because of what the not because of what Germans because of the war crimes that the German armed forces, but not only that, the Waffen SS perpetrated in the Soviet Union. So yeah, they're like, this is like really the worst migrant crisis since the end of World War II. And like I said, the Czech Republic, Poland, Hungary, and Slovakia, like they have to do. I think they should be doing more, to help out Europe. But they're just they basically. I think, in my opinion, these governments are being like, like like how about like I said, how about the governments of the Czech Republic, Hungary, Poland, and Slovakia? How about these governments all sit down, you know, and like actually help out all the other European countries that are trying to cope with these migrant influxes. And how about these governments of these countries I just mentioned, the Czech Republic, Hungary, Poland, and Slovakia? How about these governments actually sit down, decide what they're going to do, and actually grow, like I said, grow a set of balls and stop being a bunch of whiny, like bunch of whiny buttholes, about this problem. And that's the news-related subject. In another one, there's some scores from the MLB yesterday. The Kansas City Royals won 14-6. The Blue Jays won 9-5. Red Sox won 10-4. The Pittsburgh Pirates won 10-2. There was one game that was supposed to be a game between the Detroit Tigers and the Cleveland Indians. I'm assuming it got postponed, I guess, because of due to rain or whatever. So yeah, that game was postponed. Then the New York Mets won 6-4. And then the Los Angeles Dodgers won 9-5. The San Francisco Giants won 8-0. The Cincinnati Reds won 5-1. Blue Jays won 10-7. Philadelphia Phillies won 7-5. The Chicago White Sox won 8-2. The Miami Marlins won 2-0. The Oakland Athletics won 5-3. The Los Angeles Angels won 3-2, and the Seattle Mariners won 7-2. So these are some scores, from Major League Baseball yesterday. Now, we'd already had one game to start off the NFL season on Thursday, and that was concluded. And New England, the defending Super Bowl champions, the New England Patriots, won 28-21 over the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now here, there's a lot of games going on today in the first Sunday of the NFL season. The Buffalo Bills take on the Indianapolis Colts. The Jacksonville Jaguars take on the Carolina Panthers. The Houston Texans take on the Kansas City Chiefs. The St. Louis Rams take on the Seattle Seahawks. The Arizona Cardinals take on the New Orleans Saints. The Oakland Raiders take on the Cincinnati Bengals. The Cowboys take on the New York Giants in Sunday Night Football. And then the New York Jets take on the Cleveland Browns. And then an NFC North match, It'll be the Chicago Bears taking on the Green Bay Packers at Soldier Field in Chicago, Illinois. And then the Washington Redskins take on the Miami Dolphins. The San Diego Chargers take on the Detroit Lions. The Denver Broncos take on the Baltimore Ravens, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers take on the Tennessee Titans. And in two games tomorrow night, September 14th, it'll be the Atlanta Falcons taking on the Philadelphia Eagles in an early game. And then in a later game that evening, it'll be the San Francisco 49ers taking on the Minnesota Vikings. So looks like this first week of the NFL season is shaping out to be a good one. And and here are some CFL scores from Week 12. In a rematch of the Battle of Ontario, the Hamilton Tiger Cats beat the Toronto Argonauts 35-27 Friday night. Then the Winnipeg Blue Bombers won the Banjo Bowl yesterday, 22-7. And then later on that evening, in a rematch in the Battle of Alberta between the Edmonton Eskimos and the Stampeders, the Edmonton Eskimos beat the Stampeders 27-16. And then the last game of Week 12 of the CFL season will be the Ottawa Redblacks taking on the BC Lions. And that concludes Week 12. Now to start off Week 13 of the CFL, on Friday night it'll be the Calgary Stampeders taking on the BC Lions. Then Saturday it'll be the Hamilton Tiger Cats taking on the Edmonton Eskimos. And then later on that night it'll be the Saskatchewan Roughriders looking for the second win of the season, taking on the Ottawa Redblacks at Mosaic Stadium at Taylor Field in the capital of Rider Country, Regina, Saskatchewan. And then to conclude Week 13, the Winnipeg Blue Bombers face the Montreal Alouettes. And that's Week 13 of the CFL season. Now, as you all know, WWE Night of Champions is next Sunday, September 20th, and it's taking place at the Toyota Center in Houston, Texas. It'll be the ninth, like I say, it'll be the ninth event under the Night of Champions chronology. It'll be the second time the Night of Champions event has been held in Houston after Vengeance Night of Champions in 2007. What else? And here are some of the matches so far. I don't know if these are all the matches. There might be more than this. Like I said, there's Seth Rollins taking on Steen with the WWE World Heavyweight Championship on the line. And like I said, unfortunately for Seth Rollins, he's got two title defenses. He's got to defend his WWE World Heavyweight title, and then he against Steen, and then his WWE United States title against John Cena, which John Cena is entitled to a rematch because John Cena invoked his rematch clause. And then there's a six-man tag team match with Dean Ambrose and Roman Reigns, and somebody to be announced to be the partner against the Wyatt family of Bray Wyatt, Luke Harper, and Braun Strowman. And then in a singles match will be Dolph Ziggler versus Rusev. And then TBA to be announced. Whoever wins this rematch for the WWE Tag Team titles on tomorrow night's edition of Monday Night Raw. It'll be a rematch. It'll be the former champions, the Primetime Players, versus the New Day. And the Primetime Players invoke the rematch clause. And unfortunately, it's for whoever wins that match, whether it be if the New Day retain the WWE Tag Team titles, or the Primetime players win back the WWE Tag Team titles, it doesn't matter. Whoever wins that is the Dudley Boys, Bubba Ray Dudley and Devon Dudley. And by the way, if you don't know, guys don't know who the Dudley Boys are, they are the most decorated team in WWE, tag team in WWE history. So, yeah. What else? Other than that, this has been another edition of my show, the Stuart Doll Show. For you young people, you stay in school, stay out of trouble, and you'll do fine. And for now, Auf Wiedersehen, peace, bye-bye, and stay cool.